Well, let's test your knowledge. Let's say you're going to launch a startup. Can you list some costs that you would incur right at the launch of a startup? Some typical pre-launch costs that your startup would incur are research and development cost. Typically, the costs that a startup would incur in marketing and research, product development, prototyping, and testing are included under research and development. Your startup would also incur business formation cost. Typically, these are the expenses a startup has to do to pay the legal fees for a business registration and also to get some permits and licenses as required. Your startup would also incur cost on branding and marketing at the very beginning to create a nice logo or develop a website for marketing your product or services, and also to create initial content and marketing campaigns. You need to do certain expenses. Fourthly, your startup also need to invest in some technology and equipments. For example, it can be as simple as getting some softwares or hardware that your office requires, at the same time getting some basic furnitures and other necessary tools for the functioning of your startup. And finally, your startup will also have to incur expenses on talent acquisition, recruiting and onboarding initial team members, interns, consultants, or freelancers also incur some cost. Some typical growth costs that a startup will have to incur are in marketing and customer acquisition, operations and personnel, product development and maintenance, customer support and services, and finally, in growth and expansion. Ongoing marketing campaigns, search engine optimization efforts, social media management, and content creation come under your marketing and customer acquisition. Salaries, benefits, office expenses, supplies, and ongoing cost of running the business comes under your operations and personal cost. Ongoing product development, bug fixes, and feature development come under your product development and maintenance cost. Cost associated with providing customer support and resolving issues come under your customer support and service cost. And additional marketing efforts, hiring new employees, scaling infrastructure, and potential fundraising cost, all of these come under growth and expansion cost. Hope you understood what are the typical growth costs that a startup would incur. To understand financial planning and the key terms associated with it, let's take a simple exercise of a shop that sells t-shirt from its outlet. Now let's assume the shop is able to sell every single t-shirt at rupees 800 and it is able to sell 1000 pieces per month. In that case, can you calculate what is the total revenue earned by the shop per month? Well, I know the answer was a no-brainer. The shop would be able to earn rupees 8 lakhs in revenues per month. Now, can you list some expenses the shop would incur every single month? Well, let's assume the monthly expenses that the shop would incur in running the shop would be, first of all, it buys each t-shirt from the source at rupees 400 per piece, which is around 4 lakh in expenses the shop would carry on just purchasing the t-shirt as a raw material. The shop pays sales executive's salary, which is rupees 75,000 in total. The shop also pays a rent of rupees 75,000 and spends rupees 25,000 in advertisement every single month. Also, some other costs that the shop would incur are in electricity and maintenance costs, that is around rupees 15,000. And let's say in payment gateway and credit card fees, the shop is spending around 10,000 rupees. So in total, the shop is spending rupees 6 lakhs every month to run the operations effectively. That makes us understand the shop's total profit is total revenues minus the monthly expenses, which is around 2 lakh rupees. So you see here, with an average selling price of rupees 800 per t-shirt and selling close to 1000 t-shirts every month, the shop is able to make 8 lakh rupees in revenue every single month. And let's assume the monthly expenses as around 6 lakhs every month, that is around 2 lakh in profit every single month that the shop would be able to make. So totally, the annual revenue of the shop would be around 96 lakhs and the annual profit of the shop will be rupees 24 lakhs. Well, now if you look at the annual financial summary of the shop, the total number of t-shirts sold by this shop was 12,000. It was able to make annual revenue of 96 lakh rupees. The annual expenses the shop incurred was 72 lakh rupees. The annual profit the shop earned was 24 lakh rupees. With these metrics in place, now can the shop do some basic financial planning for the upcoming year to increase its profits? Now it will have to think about how will it increase its sales or revenues or decrease its cost or expenses that it incurs every single month. These are the basic financial planning principles. Well, now let's discuss what are some common challenges faced by new founders when dealing with finance and accounts. First and foremost, many new founders say that I get overwhelmed with the financial terms and jargons out there. Some say I get lost in Excel sheet cells and formula. Well, some others say I can't seem to make practical financial projections for my startup. And some other new founders would say financial changes are so often. How do we keep on doing the what if analysis? These are the common challenges faced by new founders when dealing with finance and accounts. Well, if you are also a new founder who's overwhelmed and is very confused facing these common challenges, don't worry, we have you covered. We have some financial simulation and planning tools to help you out with this. Well, what is a simulation? A simulation is nothing but a virtual representation of a real-world scenario for learning and experimentation. Common fields where simulation is used for learning and experimentation today are like aviation, business, finance, military, driving, healthcare sector, etc.